48 years ago, in 1977, NASA did one of the coolest things they ever did. It predates the space shuttle program. It was the launch of a probe, and then a second probe to go with it, that was meant to travel away from us and away from the sun through our solar system, out into space. It launched in 1977, and it passed the last planet, Neptune, in 1989. And since then, it's just been going at 38,000 miles an hour. It's still going. 10 years ago, it left our solar system. It went beyond what they call the heliosheath and is now in deep space. It has no connection to our sun anymore, but it still sends us little pings, ping, ping, to let us know where it is. It's called the Voyager. And it launched when I was 2 years old. It passed by the last planet when I was a freshman in high school. And now that I'm a 50-year-old priest, it's out there, heading toward the next solar system, which we expect it will reach in 40,000 years. No human-made thing has ever gone that far before. It blows your mind to think about it. The reason they launched the Voyager is because scientists have had a hunch for a long time. There is other life out there. God created other life in the universe. It just has to be because the universe is so big. And there are billions of stars in our galaxy alone, and there's just for sure got to be other life that God created. God is too big not to have done it. The Voyager is our best chance so far of meeting those other people that God has made wherever they are. So this is what NASA did. They wanted these people, wherever they are, to learn about us. So they created 2 phonograph records, like we had in the 70s, like they were vinyl. But they knew that vinyl would not survive the journey, so they made them out of gold. So there were these 2 golden records there, and on the records, they put a compilation of all the different sounds of earth they could think of. Tribal drums, the sound of a baby cooing, concertos, Pavarotti singing an opera, rock and roll, all sorts of stuff. On this Voyager are these golden records with little hieroglyphic instructions of how to play them, in case anyone ever encounters them and wants to play them. It's like this gift, this time capsule from our culture being sent out into space. The patron saints of the Voyager are the Magi. The Magi are the inspiration for all of NASA, really, because they were the original people who were willing to leave their comfort zone in the biggest way, in the most important way. The distance from Persia to Bethlehem in those days was unthinkable. It was like leaving your solar system. They were from an Eastern religion. They were from a totally different culture and language group, and they traveled far because they had a hunch. The Messiah is not going to be born here, maybe. Maybe God is going to do the greatest work over there. And they followed the stars in space to guide them to where the Messiah was. They went out with courage because they were called to. And we humans are at our best when we do the same. Jimmy Carter died this week at 100 years old. He was the president when the Voyager was launched. And He also sent a gift out into space with the Voyager. He wrote a statement for anyone who would ever encounter the Voyager, and they had a feeling that a manila envelope would not survive the journey. So they had his statement etched on a gold tablet. So I don't know if there was any frankincense or myrrh in the Voyager, but there certainly was gold. And this is what our president said at that time. I'm going to read the whole thing, and when I get to the end, I think you'll know why I did. Here's what it said. This Voyager spacecraft was constructed by the United States of America. We are a community of 240 million human beings among the more than 4 billion who inhabit the planet Earth. We human beings are still divided into nation states, but these states are rapidly becoming a single global civilization. We cast this message into the cosmos. It is likely to survive 1 billion years into the future, when our civilization is profoundly altered and the surface of the earth may have vastly changed. Of the 200 billion stars in the Milky Way galaxy, some, perhaps many, have inhabited planets and spacefaring civilizations. If one such civilization intercepts Voyager and can understand these recorded contents we're giving, here is our message to you. This is a present from a small, distant world. A token of our sounds, our science, our images, our music, our thoughts, and our feelings. We are attempting to survive our time so we may live into yours. We hope someday, having solved the problems we face, to join a community of galactic civilizations. This record represents our hope and our determination and our goodwill in a vast and awesome universe. Wow. Isn't that amazing? Speaking on behalf of all humans, referring to our world as a tiny, faraway place that you might be interested in visiting sometime. That was the whole point, to go out, to realize that we were not going to wait for intelligent life to come visit us. There's lots of science fiction movies about that. We wanted to use our intelligence and our heart to go out. That's what the Magi did. They went out. And they went out with goodwill. They went out with gifts. They didn't go out to kind of dominate or go with clubs and spears to meet the Messiah. We know that's what Herod did. Herod wanted to destroy the new king. I don't want anything to do with this guy. But he pretended that he did so that he could kill him. The Magi weren't like that. They had the humility to believe that maybe God was as present over there as with us, maybe even more so. So they give us a really important lesson. They teach us that we may need to go out from where we are in order to meet God where God is. A lot of us don't want to do that. And there's a lot of examples of how we can be tempted to not do that. Sometimes we pray, God, please help heal this relationship. I'm in this relationship and I really need you to heal it. And God says, I don't want to be in your unhealthy relationship with you. I want you to come over here. I want you to leave that behind. I'm not gonna join you there. I want you to join me here. Sometimes we say, God, please bless me. I'm having such a hard time. My 3rd DWI. Please help me with my drinking. God says, drinking isn't for you. Nor is drugging or whatever our problem might be, over shopping, abusing food, overspending, whatever it is. You're going to have to leave that behind. I'm not going to come be with you in that. There's nothing for you there. I want you to come over here. Leave that behind. Maybe it's in our career. We say, God, please bless me in my career. Help me to find meaning in this work. And maybe God is saying, I didn't call you to that work. I know it's going to be hard to leave that paycheck behind, but I'm calling you to something else. That work isn't going to feed you. That's not the right work for you. The reason you feel burned out and dead in that work is because it's not right for you. Come over here. It would be easier to stay where we are. I mean, that's always going to be true. But if we're really listening, we'll realize sometimes God is calling us to go from there. One spiritual teacher says, you got to remember God's name, after all. God's name, G-O-D, 2/3 of God's name are go. 2/3 of God's name is go. So we are at our best when we hear God calling and we go, just like the Magi were. Here again is what Jimmy Carter said. We hope someday to join you in a community of galactic civilizations. And this is a present from our small, distant world. It represents our hope and our determination in a vast and awesome universe. Glory be to God.